What's up, guys? Coach Brian. I'm on another walk today, and we're going to be doing a little post on judgment. Judgment based on how we view things that happen into our world. All right, guys, what's up? So this concept we're going to be talking about today is really kind of complex, but it's really not. So kind of the way it begins is kind of the Stoic philosophy of how to differentiate between what's up to us and what's not. And the art has to do with like how we start to act. So if we are at the airport and the poor little air attendant says that your flight or your seat has been taken away, and that's going to make you miss your adjoining flight, which is going to make you miss your car pickup time, which is going to make you miss your specific thing that you're trying to do. Typically, most people's reaction, or some people maybe just scream at that person, but that's not the right reaction. The right reaction is to really try to look at the situation and apply the energy toward what you can do, what you can control, versus what you can't, because there's nothing to do about your seat being lost, but there's absolutely something to do at that moment to try to mitigate the problem that you're facing. No matter what, no matter how much screaming, yelling, fussing, and complaining, no matter how much victimizing and grabbing your cell phone and doing all that kind of stuff is going to make things any different. It's not going to change anything. So let's don't focus on that. Let's put energy into where we need to, which is probably want to focus on what we have in control. So what are we in control of? We're in control of our reaction. Okay. Where that kind of goes into is what specific judgments are we giving that circumstance? It's not the events that disturb us. It's the judgments that we give the circumstances. So the way that works is like say if you have a weight loss goal or a step goal for the day, you want to get 10,000 steps and you just didn't get it. And because you didn't get it, you throw your cell phone down, or you stomp around and tell yourself that you're terrible. And then before you know it, you've walked over to the refrigerator because you're just upset. And then before you know it, you've made you some ice cream and a banana and all kinds of terrible stuff to just make up for that terrible feeling that you've got, when you could have applied that judgment you gave to yourself that you were worthless into a more positive sense of like, what can you do to empower yourself to make sure that you get your steps the next day. Also, what some people do is like, they apply judgment on a specific bad thing that happens, and they apply it an improper meaning to it, that almost that they deserve it, or God has decided to punish them, or that somehow they deserve what specifically occurred. And that's improper judgment in of itself as well, because the things that happen in life, if you get like a flat tire and your tire goes flat and you're on the side of the road and you can't go anywhere, you're late to work, you're going to get in trouble, you just get mad at God, and then you think that that you did something to cause this issue to happen in your life, or that's some type of punishment. And really, you're not that big of a deal. God didn't wake up this morning and say, I'm gonna pop Brian's tire and teach him a lesson for whatever thing he may have done. It's not the way life works. So don't paint that picture to yourself. That's not true. That's a false judgment. Another little part of judgment is someone could be abusive to you, and they could say something to hurt you that reflects directly upon your own limited self-belief. So like, if you're fat, they say you're fat, and that's absolutely a provocation. They're trying to provoke you and hurt you by telling you you're fat, so then you will believe it. And what happens when that process is that provocation actually represents, and if you let that bother you, if you holler and scream back at them and act inappropriate just like they are, give that anger back, then that is you actually being complicit in the provocation. So you're allowing yourself and your brain to give that person power. So let's don't do that. One way to kind of work around that is the gray rock method. So if someone was to call you a name, or provoke you, or try to pick a fight, and you know it's not true, or even if it hurt your feelings a little bit, a good way to kind of fix that whole situation is not let it provoke you. Give a one-word answer, yes, and move on. Okay, so the gray rock method's always good in that. So why does all this matter? So where it all kind of comes out and plays out is through this kind of saying of the truth of the individual really plays itself out in hard times. And you really have to think of yourself as a warrior. So, you know, this specific bad thing happened, or someone said something bad to you, or if you got a flat tire, or if a tornado came and took the roof off your home, or specific toward those type of things. You know, how do you apply that? So do you think that, you know, the old ways of judgment, like you deserve it, or something bad happened, you know, all these type of things that we're talking about before? Or you can apply it like this. The way that you can think about it is that God is your trainer. God has paired you with this particular circumstance in your life to make you stronger. So it's no different than walking a 5K. It's no different than walking a 10K. It's no different than back squatting 200 pounds. It's no different than eating your 500 grams of raw vegetables a day. It's something that we can do to make you stronger. And those linear templates go on forever. And I use that word linear a lot. And what that means is time. So time-based progressions. So the more that you do these things, the more confident you become, and the more obstacles that you can cross. And that's where this kind of stuff pays off at, is you have to really apply things, significant things that happen in your life, which could be a circumstance that is dire or simple, with the simple thought that this is just God training you to be stronger. And there's a way to be strong through this and get better and learn from it and make the right behavioral reaction to it, not the wrong one. All right? Because what we want to do is, you know, we practice this stuff enough, and these philosophies, especially within Stoicism and within our group, what we want you to do is not, this is a saying that I like to use, is don't talk about it, be about it. So you don't talk about your philosophy, you embody it. And it takes a linear progression of doing that. Like, you know, we see a lot of people that talk about things that they do constantly on social media. Why not just do it? Like what we talked about yesterday. Do it. Do more of it. Let people see the totality of what the work that you do, so then they can understand that, well, Sally Sue does great, and that's why she does it. I want to be like her. Through this process of Stoicism, we're trying to develop these concepts of courage, wisdom, justice, and moderation, so you can learn to apply them in your life. Because one thing that we want you to think about is, like, there's no good or bad. There's no fail or success. There is only the game. So if you constantly focus on the game itself, on the work, you're always going to be a winner. So don't be a tyrant to yourself. You know, this whole situation is really reflects back on that, you know, of what meaning are you giving to these specific situations. And the meaning can be good for you, or it can be bad for you. So focus on the meaning. Most things that we give meaning to do not have meaning. The only real meaning is the game. So let's be a winner in the game. Let's continue to slay dragons and do well within this program in life. And hope you enjoyed this talk. Be careful of your judgments.